Hello, inquiring viewers, and welcome to Science and Spirituality on Supreme Master Television. In recent decades, public interest in the existence of extraterrestrial life has grown dramatically, and many people are seeking disclosure about what governments know on the subject. One such individual is activist, lobbyist, and commentator Stephen Bassett, Executive Director of the Paradigm Research Group and the Extraterrestrial Phenomena Political Action Committee, or XPAC, both of which are based in Bethesda, Maryland, USA. Mr. Bassett is a leading advocate for increasing public awareness about the extraterrestrial presence engaging humankind and its potential benefits for our planet and civilization. Supreme Master Television had the opportunity to speak with Stephen Bassett about his work at the October 2011 Conscious Life Visionary Expo in Los Angeles, California, USA. On today's program, we present excerpts from the fascinating interview.
I'm a political activist, and I have been since 1996, and the focus of my activism is the extraterrestrial issue and its resolution. Prior to that, I did business consulting. I did get a degree in physics, but my life really began when I entered this issue, and been doing it exclusively since then. And the issue regarding ET phenomena had been with me my whole life. One of the key books I read was John Mack's Abduction, Human Encounter with Aliens. Mack was a Harvard-trained psychiatrist, and the fact that he had gotten into the issue, studying contactees, was a milestone for me, and told me this thing is definitely moving forward. Then it was easy to conclude, well, if the extraterrestrial presence were to become known as an accepted reality, that would be the most profound event in human history. So I said, I'll engage it politically. So the first thing I did was to register as a lobbyist. Thus the name Paradigm Research Group, which is the name of my organization. I was the first person to ever register as a lobbyist in Washington on this issue. Then I formed the first political action committee. Then, of course, the field is getting crowded, so we're now a movement.
Mr. Bassett now discusses the substantial body of evidence for the existence of human extraterrestrial interaction that has emerged in recent decades.
The evidence is massive and overwhelming. It's been accumulated for 60 years. 5,000 books and pamphlets, millions of sightings, hundreds of thousands of reports, thousands of pilot sightings, discs off windows, cockpits, radar reports, multiple sightings on the ground. Now you have to go look at it. It's years to study this evidence, but there is a massive amount of evidence to prove it. One of the most profound pieces of evidence is in the last 20 years, many hundreds of thousands of people have reported contact with extraterrestrials. They're reporting contacts which are pretty consistent, the same kind of beings, the same kind of procedures. So that's incredibly powerful evidence. And then one other, and that is government witnesses coming forward. People like astronaut Edgar Mitchell, astronaut Gordon Cooper. That's very powerful. These are very accomplished people.
Mr. Bassett next elaborates on some of the types of extraterrestrials that have been described by contactees and the need for increased public understanding of their existence and efforts to interact with humans.
There appear to be 4 or 5 types that are most commonly reported by contactees, and the most common is the grays, which they vary in size and in other ways. And this image of the gray is now ubiquitous in the world. In advertising, it's on packaging, it's on television. It's just a very slight 4-foot being, spindly arms, 4 fingers, very small mouth, vestigial ears, vestigial nose, big, black, slanted eyes. And that wasn't concocted in the imagination of some ad person. That is, in fact, the imagery that's being reported. The Art of Close Encounters is a new book that has 150 contactee reports with about 200 pieces of art that show the range of this phenomena. There's a group called the Nordics, which look very human, almost identical, but beautiful, tall, blonde beings. Those are pretty well established. There are also significant benefits that would come if the world's people know that they're not alone, there's other extraterrestrial civilizations. I think this opens up a broad range of doors that we could go through to start dealing with the problems that we're creating. There's potential technological breakthroughs that could come from ET technology. So the benefits far outweigh any justification that the world's major governments could put forward to justify keeping this suppressed any longer. letting them know it's true, and also letting them know that things are moving forward. It helps to acclimate people for this, so that there'll be less disruption when it does happen. And also, as awareness raises about the likelihood of a disclosure, the likelihood of disclosure goes up. So again, the idea is to get disclosure of the ET presence as soon as possible. So public awareness helps in both of those areas.
When humans become more conscious and accepting of extraterrestrials, the door to advancing our planet and civilization in numerous ways will be opened.
We have a number of craft, and we've been studying them for decades. We know how the craft perform. We know they're anti-gravitic. So there may be a profound energy source there. There's a lot going on now in human physics that's pointing towards accessing extraordinary energy sources. It's called the ground field, zero-point field, the quantum field. It turns out the amount of energy that is around us is actually quite extraordinary. If we could tap into that energy, it changes the equations on planet Earth profoundly. So we think there is more information there. We need to have that information out so that we can utilize potentially this energy source. It's also clear from the contactee report they are extremely skilled in life sciences, in genetics. So one of the great truths I think we will learn in the post-disclosure world is that DNA from life planets all throughout the galaxy has been swapping out for millions of years. Spacefaring beings have been taking DNA and moving it around. And so our DNA, our life structures here are connected very likely to life structures all over the galaxy. This is incredibly profound. And when you examine the contactee reports, it turns up everywhere. Genetic work, DNA, hybrid beings, they are the masters of this, and probably a lot more, which also means that they are probably more than capable, or have the technology that is capable of solving almost all disease problems we have. Which means that if we had full contact with the extraterrestrials, and if they were willing to provide us with some of this tech, we could cure virtually all of the major diseases that plague us, which would transform the planet. So disclosure is the door to open contact, and open contact may be the door to access to that technology.
Mr. Bassett also believes that having a strong spiritual foundation can help us accept the changes brought about by increased contact with our fellow beings from other parts of the galaxy.
I think people who have spiritual base probably are better positioned to deal with this transition than people that don't have that kind of a base. Belief systems will shift. There'll be some new information we're going to learn about our ancient history and perhaps some of our religious lore.
In conclusion, Mr. Bassett states that our extraterrestrial friends are here to guide us to a constructive future in a way that has been experienced for millennia by the inhabitants of many other planets around our galaxy.
They understand from previous experience that at this point we have to go from thinking we're alone in the universe to knowing we're not. We have to go through the disclosure process. And we have a limited amount of time because the weapons that we have are getting more powerful, the environment's getting more damaged, and so we have to make this transition because once a planetary civilization gets to this point, if they don't come to understand that they're not alone, if they engage these other civilizations, they may not be able to get through this time. In other words, they perish. So they're shepherding us through a necessary transition that every sentient species has probably gone through on planets around the galaxy.
Supreme Master Ching Hai has spoken on occasion regarding extraterrestrial beings and their visits to our planet, as in this October 2010 video conference with Supreme Master Television staff in Los Angeles, California, USA.
Master, have UFOs carried out any other activities on Earth that we don't know about? What are those activities?
Yeah. Too many to count, okay? But they're all good intention, yes. One of it is to help to promote peace, yeah? Promote
Yes.
peace and stop war, yes? They also stop comet to hit us, etc.,
Wow.
etc. Yes. So you see, many times we heard that the comet almost hit the Earth, and then it veered to the other direction,
Yes,
into the
yes.
space, harmless space. And so it
Yes.
didn't harm the Earth. Yes. They also heal many sick people wherever they can. Yes,
Wow.
whenever they happen to have a chance to do that. And they also soften warlike aggression.
Oh.
Yes, and trying to induce people into a more peaceful state of mind. Yes. So their activities are so many, so many. We have to thank them immensely. Thank God that they even exist, that God even sent them, okay? That God even
Yes.
allowed them to come and help us, okay?
Yes.
That we even have enough luck, to be
Yes.
helped by such a highly developed beings.
Thank you, Mr. Stephen Bassett, for your enlightening discussion on the interactions of extraterrestrials and humans and their potential benefits to our civilization. May the Paradigm Research Group soon succeed in encouraging governments worldwide to inform their respective citizens about our friendly galactic neighbors. For more information on Stephen Bassett, please visit www.paradigmresearchgroup.org. Genial viewers, thank you for watching this week's edition of Science and Spirituality. Coming up next is Words of Wisdom after noteworthy news. May our planet soon elevate, thus enabling us to fully integrate with the universe.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/SS.
Good effects of meditation.
If you contemplate God long enough, something surprising happens in the brain. Neural functioning begins to change.
Meditators move activity in their brains away from the stress-prone right frontal cortex to the calmer left frontal cortex. This decreases the negative effects of stress, mild depression and anxiety. There is also less activity in the amygdala, where the brain processes fear.
Not only is meditation an absolutely marvelous de-stressor, it helps people better relate to one another.
Meditation could help treat attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, anxiety disorder, major depression and other disorders marked by distracting thoughts.
Meditation is a lifelong gift. It's something you can call on at any time. For more information, please visit www.godsdirectcontact.org.
Trusted viewers, welcome to another episode of Science and Spirituality, where we will feature an interview with Laura Eisenhower, the great-granddaughter of Dwight D. Eisenhower, who served as President of the United States from 1953 to 1961. Miss Eisenhower describes herself as a global alchemist, cosmic mythologist, artist, and Earth advocate. Supreme Master Television had the opportunity to interview Miss Eisenhower during the October 2011 Conscious Life Visionary Expo in Los Angeles, California, USA, where she presented a talk entitled Extraterrestrials and the Eisenhower Legacy. Laura Eisenhower believes that while in office, President Eisenhower met with extraterrestrials. In a January 20th, 2011 online article, she wrote for All News Web entitled, "My great-grandfather, Ike, knew about UFO and alien visits to Earth." She writes, "I am a great-granddaughter of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and I should say from the start that I am fairly certain Ike was aware of aliens visiting Earth. In so many ways it was obvious. For starters, there were the little comments here and there. Mamie, my great-grandmother and former First Lady, was even said to have divulged something about the topic to the father of noted ufologist Ed Grimsley, a distant relative, for instance. Miss Eisenhower said that she too had been in touch with extraterrestrials and seen UFOs.
I've seen weird stuff in the sky. I had a visitation when I was a kid that was preparing me for this path that I've been on. They were this luminous race. They didn't really tell me who they were. I believe they were Andromedan or Arcturian.
When she was younger, Miss Eisenhower did not like to reveal her last name or connection to her great-grandfather. But as time went on, she became comfortable with the public knowing her background.
Well, I've always had a very, very profound mission since I was a child. I knew what I was here to do on this planet. And I also felt that in order for me to really get a grip on me, separate from my family, that I didn't want to wind up taking a route in my life that was connected to that name and where it is today, where I am coming from a place that's much more connected to the warrior side of it, connected to really completing a legacy on a personal level and on a level that connects to him as president. So I wanted to wait until I got into a certain level on my path in order to be able to bring that name in and how it uniquely relates to me and my own work in connection to him as a person and also to my whole family as a voice of this ancestral line that isn't so much based on what I grew up in, but based on myself as a multidimensional being who has had my own particular path that has put me in such a family. So I just felt that I didn't want that sort of attention until I really had solid truth as far as facts, as far as having a grip on my own soul mission, so that if I were to be asked questions, that I would be able to clearly speak on certain subjects without having too much gray area or too much lack of information to be able to be very concise about the information I'm bringing forward.
Miss Eisenhower believes our world has lost its natural order as the feminine energy has been overwhelmed by the masculine energy, and that this must change for the planet to be uplifted in consciousness. She says this divine feminine energy is represented by a goddess called Sophia.
I'm here to reveal many, many other truths connected to this, to the goddess Sophia, Gaia, the planetary body. If we look at the planetary body, Gaia, it's a living organism, it's a cosmic being, it's a multidimensional planet that connects to source energy, that connects to the whole cosmos, you know, all races and everything in between. And it's a feminine energy in a lot of ways, but it's also, of course, merged with the male as far as sacred union is concerned, as far as the archetypes are concerned. But we find the stories in these myths, even though the myths have been tampered, if one reads between the lines and looks at their own life and looks at the real history and really reads into it all, it's actually very simple, and we don't have to let it get us all confused. We can just simply see a being that has wholeness, that has been split, where the masculine and feminine are out of balance, the powers are out of balance, the feminine is kicked to the side, the male energy has control. And, you know, this isn't even to blame a gender. The divine male has been targeted. His energy has been targeted. He's bought into a program. Feminine has bought into a program. Both genders have lost their way in a lot of senses. But I think the divine male has been just as targeted. The reason there's attention on the divine feminine is because it's been hidden, whereas the empowerment has been to the lower male. And it's about really the divine masculine and feminine waking up and forming union. I only give attention to divine feminine in the sense of her story, but when I present it to the world, it's never about matriarchy or the feminine taking over. It's about coming into balance and helping men awaken to their feminine, which helps them be in their divine masculine, and helping the women wake up to their divine masculine so they can be the warrior and not the victim, because victim consciousness has really made a lot of women stuck.
How can we help restore this lost balance? Ms. Eisenhower feels part of the answer involves conducting introspection and re-examining our lifestyles.
Yes, it's important to just, wake up every morning, set your intention, find your center, recognize where your thoughts are, where your beliefs are, how you're treating others, how you're treating yourself, what you're putting into your body. It's very important to make sure you're doing, heavy metal detoxes. It's so important to stay aligned with nature, to realize that there's incredible energies from the galactic core that are raising our consciousness and raising our vibrations so that we can ascend. And so when we harness our energy and we call it back to ourselves, we reclaim that creative energy, we assist Gaia, and we act as her immune system. We increase our frequency, we connect, and we, learn the golden rule: treat one another with respect, love, and compassion.
Laura Eisenhower is deeply interested in time travel and teleportation. She says that technologies related to these fields are currently being used on Earth, and that this fact should be disclosed to the world.
There's programs in the government that have been using time travel and teleportation, particularly Project Pegasus, basically utilizing wormholes and stargates. They are like tunnels that connect us to the past and into the future. And UFOs are time travel machines in a sense. And there's about 8 different types of teleportation time travel technologies, one of which is looking glass, which are cylinder seals, a little bit after Sumerian times, that have been planted and used in order to be able to view future and past events, which is a little bit different than the other time travel technologies. But that's one form of how they're able to manipulate timelines. Other time travel teleportation technologies connect to the radiant energy field, being able to jump through a vortex, a portal, and enter and go to a completely different place. Andrew Basiago was teleporting from San Diego to New York in 3 minutes. He teleported to Mars in about 20 minutes through Jump Room. Through chronovisors, it creates a hologram that you're able to interact with that goes all the way into the past. He was even able to see the dinosaur era. But then there's the type of teleportation where you're actually taken back, and that's going through a wormhole. And I'm not a physicist, so I don't quite understand the mechanics behind it, but it's Tesla-based technology. So you're able to, journey through a tunnel into the past and through, present time locations, from one place to the next. And so, of course, this would save a lot of money. This would transform our world if we were using these technologies for our planet, to benefit our planet, to help those in need. This planet is a multidimensional planet, so they're natural stargates. There used to be a lot of journeying between, this planet to other star systems, and it was normal that, you would be on Earth and go elsewhere. If it was open to all of us, we'd be a civilization that would be interacting with our universal family, with other races and beings.
Our appreciation, Miss Laura Eisenhower, for sharing your perspectives on extraterrestrials, teleportation, and the urgent need to restore natural order on our planet. May you always have peace in your heart and blessings from the divine. For more information on Laura Eisenhower, please visit www.cosmicgaia2012.com. Wondrous viewers, thank you for joining us on this week's episode of Science and Spirituality. Coming up next is Words of Wisdom after Noteworthy News. Let all people across the world now join hands in love and friendship.
For more details, please visit www.suprememastertv.com/SS.
If the government give us the blessing and encourage more, because we have already a couple of years to change the course of history of climate change. And I'm happy that many governments now are encouraging children to eat vegetarian, more vegetable, less meat and more vegetable. And I'm so happy. Maybe we can still save the planet. And one more thing is, if we have the blessing also of the media, every day when they print the newspaper, just one headline somewhere: be veg, go green to save the planet. And our entertainment program whenever they do some entertainment, they could say it before or after to save the planet, be veg, go green, everybody help, and the government put billboard everywhere, be veg, go green to save the planet. And then all the billboard, every advertisement should add one sentence to save the planet, be veg, go green, then we'll be fine, we'll be smiling. So that's what I think, that's a solution for the planet. So what I mean is, if you know some newspaper man, you can suggest this. Just one little headline, or any headline anywhere. Every day when they print the newspaper to say the planet be veg, go green. And if you want to know more, they can ask everybody else, or you can watch our television, they can ask our website. It's easy. We already advertising a lot on newspapers, but it's not enough. I think all the media should help to save the planet, because if the planet's gone, they also gone. Everybody should realize that money, useless, house, useless, power, useless, everybody we got. So we do what we can, make people realize that, okay? We have to save the only planet we have and the most beautiful one that we know.
For more urgent details, please visit suprememastertv.com/SOS.
Many brilliant Nobel laureates were ethical vegetarians. Their dedicated pursuits of the mind were grounded in well-developed principles, strong personal philosophies which acknowledged the sentience of animals and the importance of making sustainable choices as a society.
It's much more efficient and energy efficient to have a vegetarian lifestyle. I personally have been a vegetarian all my life, and I don't see any reason to change.
As long as people will shed the blood of innocent creatures, there can be no peace, no liberty, no harmony between people. Slaughter and justice cannot dwell together. Isaac Bashevis Singer, 1978, Nobel laureate for literature, vegetarian.
Until he extends the circle of his compassion to all living things, man will not himself find peace. Albert Schweitzer, 1952, Nobel laureate for peace, vegetarian.
Moving towards much lower consumption of meat would be the interests of human beings, and it certainly would be in the interests of the planet. So I would like to appeal to you to consider this carefully, and you would find that when you make such a move, you would be healthier, you would feel much better, and so would the planet.
Vegetarian food leaves a deep impression on our nature. If the whole world adopts vegetarianism, it can change the destiny of humankind. Albert Einstein, 1921, Nobel laureate for physics, vegetarian.
Be veg, go green to save the planet.
Sé ecológico por salvar el planeta.
Manger moins de viande, c'est mieux pour la nature.
Be veg, go green.
Soyez végétalien, devenez écolo, sauvons tous la planète ensemble.
Be veg, go green, save the